So I'm here after snatching a couple hours of sleep. I actually came home from getting my hair cut and went straight to bed because not being able to sleep for 2 days actually got to me, and now I'm up like all of a couple hours later. This is how it works. And I wake up to all these negative comments, even to my good review, because, yeah, I knew that would happen because the internet, you guys have such a big internet shield. Okay, fine. So I'm here to actually clear up something, but first, okay, there's a couple of points. One, I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think I'm an unpleasant person to be around. I don't care if you're offended, my feelings, because I left a hairdresser a poor review. I don't care if you think that I'm seeking drama. If you think I'm seeking drama, stop going to my freaking video. But because I know that you people will keep going to the video, and people will keep going to the video, because once a negative avalanche starts, it snowballs, I have monetized the video. Because I have to turn everybody's negativity into positivity somehow. And sure, it's only a few cents on the dime, but I mean, not even on the dime. It's like a fraction of a penny. But it's positivity coming out of my review, because like it or not, hairdressers get reviewed, and like it or not, hairdressers get poor reviews, and you guys can put me down for being insulted and offended, and actually call me a liar. Because you guys can't seem to conceive that the South may have a culture, or America might have certain aspects of culture. Yes, that is a prominent problem, and that's what I've gathered from some of you. You guys really don't get it. Then whatever, whatever. I don't care. I do reviews, and if you look at my whole channel, instead of just being offended at everything I do and say, even when it's positive and complimenting someone, then you would see that I do reviews. That's one thing I do. I do reviews. I don't do them because I want you guys snowballing my channel. I do them because I like sharing my thoughts. And I don't have a lot of followers, and I have never cared if I had a lot of followers, because I keep it real. I'm not, and I keep to the truth, and I'm not going to give you a fake positive review because of my feelings. I'm going to actually tell you what I think. And this may or may not make me a pleasant person to be around. My friends seem to think I'm pretty pleasant. And since you're not my friends, that's all that matters. To those of you that have actually gotten around the negativity and left actual information as comments, I am reading them. You don't need to keep repeating. And I thank you for the information. And I thank you for your maturity above all. Some of it I already knew, actually. You guys act like I had never been to a hairdresser before. Some of it I already knew. And is why I was really offended at how I was treated, because I know that there are better ways. Another point that people seem to not understand is, and it's ironic because I'm getting told to improve my listening skills while no one's listening. Kind of a double-edged sword here, is that I have been to other hairdressers, so I know a positive experience and I know a negative experience. When I run across this particular hairdresser problem, and I'm fixing to go into part of it that needs to be addressed because it's clear none of you guys have any idea where I'm coming from. When I run into it, I'm going to think of all the times that's happened, because I get annoyed that it happens so frequently, and I have talked to other people with long hair who have the exact same complaint, not necessarily coming from the exact same space. So there are positive hairdressers out there. It's just when you're giving a negative review, I didn't see the point in going through 20-something odd 30 years of my life for a freaking short review. It's silly. And so I'm going to leave it at that. Now I'm going to address this, and the only reason why I'm making this video and addressing this is because it seems to me that a lot of you are talking out your ass and don't know what you're putting down here. So let me discuss hair discrimination with you. Actually, I'm not even going to discuss it. I'm just going to give you a couple of points, because I don't know everything about hair discrimination, but it is a real thing, and I have been discriminated against for my hair in more places than a hair salon. So let me give you the basis here. To Native Americans, long hair is a big deal. Yes, there are Native Americans that keep their hair short. Yes, there are Native Americans who choose not to do this. And then there are those of us that long hair is a big deal. And we have faced hair discrimination on so many counts. We've had, you know, in the past, teachers telling their parents that they needed to cut their children's, their little boys' hair because, you know, it wasn't, you know, considered the social norm. Whenever children were kidnapped and taken to the Indian schools, the first thing that happened to them was their hair was cut, and they were quote unquote deloused, and you know, and maybe the nuns or whoever was in charge were genuinely concerned about getting lice in the school because it would have been an epidemic, especially back then. But there's also that whole stereotype of dirty Indian, and it's always been conveyed to me that that was the biggest reason why. I don't know, you know, I wasn't there, and I don't know the other side of that. I just know that this event happened, and facts don't care about my feelings. For us, long hair is an expression of our ethnic background. And for some, it is a spiritual statement. It is a tie to our spirituality. Long hair is your power, so to speak. So it's a cultural important thing. In my case, my long hair is all that, and it's a style choice. It's a style choice. I don't know what I would do if I ever, say, landed a role in a movie and they wanted me to cut my hair. I would have a very serious moral dilemma with that, and I would have to do a lot of soul searching. Fortunately, at this moment, I don't have to do that soul searching. Fortunately, in this moment, I know that I want my long hair. I have been hair discriminated against by whites and blacks. There was a job I had in which I had absolutely no contact with anyone. And the woman that had hired me with my hair, and I had a blue streak. It was a very small blue streak. It was all this, but a very tiny blue streak. And she decided to get offended about my hair. And her husband, who was black, actually cornered me in one of the rooms and petted my hair. You know, they go on, people go on about how you should never pet a black person's hair for the texture because that's rude. Well, I've had that done to me by a black person. This is not a strictly to black thing. This just happens. And then I lost my job that day because that woman was just on a rampage, you know. But considering she truly was an unpleasant person to be around, I mean, I would be sweeping in the hall and listening to how she would put down people who didn't go to church because they weren't, and I'm going to quote, true Christians. I guess, you know, that job was going to be short-lived, and it's a pity, because, you know, it was a nice, quiet job, and I enjoyed the work, but, you know, it's a pity, but that's how it is. I had a job in Jersey City where they hired me with my long hair. They knew I had long hair, and about a month into my job, decided to start picking on me about my long hair, like literally picking on me like it was high school. We were adults working in a dye factory, and I was in the office in an administrative position, and I had to put up with childish comments and being made fun of. And they used to say, why don't you cut your hair? You should cut your hair. You really should cut your hair. And it was constant. You know, speaking of high school, in high school, and it was a small high school, so understand when I say it spread through the high school, I mean it spread through the high school. The Christian girls, there was this gaggle of Christian girls, decided that I was a Satanist because my hair was long. There was absolutely no understanding of why my hair could possibly be long, except perhaps I was a Satanist. And so it was all over the school. And the discrimination I had to put up with that is epic proportions. And I don't even want to go into that story. That's all you need to know. You can call me a liar if you like. So then there's the hairdressers. And hair discrimination with hairdressers is real. And you guys can defend it. You guys can go, well, I've been a hairdresser for 25 years and I never. Good for you. I'm glad you never. Okay, if you never, then possibly you're a good hairdresser, and I would enjoy coming to you. But, you know, like it or not, there are these negative weeds out there, and they're going to be out there. There's always one in every crowd. Now, the hairdresser discrimination is never on the epic proportions I've experienced in other places, but it's there. It usually manifests in, you never cut your hair, that exact expression, which, by the way, the hairdresser in my negative review did. And you explain to her, well, you know, you don't want to go through this long spiel like I just did of why not. First off, it's not your job to understand my ethnic background. It's not your job to get it. Okay, I'm only doing this video because I feel kind of bad that people don't get it. So you can learn from it or not. It's your decision. It's not your job to be able to read me and go, oh, What is she? How do I treat her? Okay, it is only your job to treat me courteously and do my hair as I ask. It is not your job to tell me how to do my hair. Unless I ask, what do you recommend? Which I have done in the past when I, was a little bit wilder and would do haircuts short haircuts ever so often. Your job is to listen to what I need as a client and try to do that. Now, as a client, it is my job to understand that you're only human and you have limitations. But when I go to a salon and I am given snarls and talked like I'm dirty because I don't like to trim my hair, that's something I've actually learned to overlook. And so now that I have got a contrast review of negative hairdresser versus positive hairdresser, I know that that's a warning sign, and I'm going to try to unlearn my habit of overlooking it from now on and look at it as, okay, this person is not the person for you because they don't like your hair. And for whatever reason, I don't know what the reasons are, but I have a kitten that won't let me put him down. He thinks the floor is made of lava. But so that's hair discrimination, and I have experienced it more than once, and it's always been, you don't cut your hair ever? Not even once a year? Now, the thing is about the length of my hair is it was actually a hairdresser. She was my boyfriend at the time's cousin, and she was really popular up in Maryland. And she told me, do not trim your hair as much as the hairdressers will recommend. Don't do that. Okay, this is on the advice of a hairdresser. And her reasoning was that if I do that, then my hair will never grow back. It will, because of the length, the slowness and everything, that I would never get to see the length back in the speed that I normally see the length back. I have followed that advice religiously. So I get a trim maybe once every 2 years, which means that I deal with the hair discrimination issue once every 2 years, give or take. 2 years ago, I had to skip it and try to do it myself because we were just that tight on money and I couldn't even afford a $15 haircut. So the thing I take away from this experience that's the biggest lesson for me is to unlearn my habit of overlooking people's hair discrimination, which is real. And you can tell me it's fake all you want. As somebody who has been discriminated against on many levels because of my hair, you're not going to convince me otherwise. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that someone else is lying, and that's just all there is to it. So I'm really happy that the hairdresser I found is happy to help me keep my length and was happy to work with my needs as a client and happy to listen to me as a client, which is kind of a big deal. He could have listened to my needs and explained to me politely and nicely, or even, just whatever, without being rude and mean, why he couldn't. And that would have been good customer service as far as I'm concerned. My biggest concern here is how I'm treated as a human being. Because I know that there are a lot of other hairdressers out there, and I know that there are hairdressers out there that will cut my hair the way I ask. And he asked me, how do you want it? And it was a proper experience according to other positive salons that I have had. Now, people are saying, well, the box color is a lie. Well, I might have misunderstood him. I was asking questions because someone on one of the videos had said to do some research, so I took that opportunity to do some research and had a very positive experience while my questions were asked. So this guy's going to get 5 stars no matter what. And you can get upset that I found someone good, and you can get upset that there are bad weeds in the garden, but this is how it is, and this is the fact of life, and facts don't care about your freaking feelings. But I hope that what little bit I've been able to articulate about my hair is understood, because I don't know how better to explain it. I have explained it and recorded this like 5 times now trying to articulate it, and it's hard. So I hope I was clear, and if I wasn't, well, I can try to answer questions if they're polite. I truly didn't expect this hair review thing to be so popular. Bad reviews happen, guys, and I do reviews, good and bad. I try to do good. I do try to do good. but, you know, good and bad things happen in life. This is the wheel. This is how it goes. You go round and around just like the tarot card. But yeah, so, you know, whatever, think what you like. Just know that the more drama you pile onto my reviews, the more cha-ching and positivity it is for me. And I'm just telling you that now, so that, you know, if you think I'm seeking drama, it's really easy, guys. Just don't hit the reply button.